How's it going? This is Alex at U-Rock. Today I'm going to be demoing a very cool guitar for you. It's a new guitar from Sterling. It's called the Stingray, not to be confused with the Stingray bass. It's made by the same company and Ernie Ball. So for those of you that may not know, I've actually already done a demo. I did a demo of the Sterling Cutlass. But if you haven't watched that, then I'll give you the spiel again. So, Sterling, for all intents and purposes, is the import line of Music Man. So for Music Man's entire existence, they've basically been a custom sort of one-off company. Every guitar is made to order, by customers or shops. But Sterling licensed their designs and produces them out of the country, ships them here, and they do all the setup work and they do all the calibration. And I have to say, they do a bang-up job because the Sterlings that I get in the shop are set up. They come at a much more consumer-friendly price point. This guitar from Music Man retails for about $1,500. This one, the Sterling version, retails at about $500, and that is pretty great. So the basics of this guitar are, if you can tell, it's a vaguely jazz mastery sort of offset design. I wouldn't say it is a jazz master copy at all, just that it's vaguely similar in design. You can look up at the headstock here. The headstock decal work is really well done, very, very professional. It comes with locking tuners, which is amazing for a guitar at this price point. If you look at the neck, you can't tell from the video, but the neck is very, I don't know if it's lightly finished, but it's very not glossy. It's very matte, so it's a very quick feeling fingerboard. Even though this guitar has sort of this vaguely Fendery sort of look to it, the neck feels nothing like a Fender, and in fact feels nothing like any other guitar I can really come up with off the top of my head. All I can really say about them is they feel like they're more designed for human hands. They're a little thicker, but not all the way around. I guess you could say they almost sort of have that like it's almost like a boat back type neck, but nowhere near as thick, but it feels more contoured for a human hand. The contour doesn't quite feel like it's the same top and bottom. Like I said, all I can really say is it feels more like it's meant for the human hand to hold. These are very, very comfortable necks to play, and couple that with the neck, the finish on the neck, and how well these fingerboards are done. And I think these are really some of the best necks on import guitars I've seen. It comes with two Music Man spec humbuckers. So these are not made by Music Man, but they are made to their specifications. Three-way switch. We all know what the three-way switch is about. A volume and tone. And it's got a vintage style folded saddle bridge on it. But what's cool about the bridge of these guitars, there's a couple of cool things about these. First of all, they're a 2-point tremolo design. And I like 2-point tremolo. I like 2-point tremolo much better than I like the 6 individual screws. I think it makes the tremolo much smoother to use. And I also think that it makes the tuning hold better. It tends to come back to the right place without having a Floyd Rose. And I'm not a Floyd Rose player. It's too much work for me to change strings at the rate I go through strings. So you can tell it's finished in this very, very attractive sunburst. It also comes in black, but black's never been my thing for guitars. I'm a sucker for sunburst. So it comes in this very attractive sunburst. And look at the back. You can look at the back. It's almost got better grain on the back than it does on the front. Looks like they should have flipped this billet around and used the front for the, or used the back for the front. So one thing I can say about the guitar is it feels incredibly solid in my hands. It's well built. It's not heavy, but it feels substantial. It's very comfortable to play. It's got an ergonomic cutout here. It's got kind of a big lower bout. That's my one sort of, not a qualm for me personally, but I would understand that some people may not like that. So right here, if you're not very tall, and I'm not super tall, you'd have to be shorter than me for that to be a problem. So I don't find it to be a problem. So the other cool thing about the bridge, I forgot to mention, is that it's got a handle on it. So as you can see, I've got the whammy bar attached, but if I want to use the tremolo, I can grab it by the back handle here like this without using the whammy bar. So if you're a player who doesn't like to use the whammy bar, you can just, if you just want to do little chord flourishes, you can just grab it by that handle. I think that's a super cool addition that I think a lot of people overlook. All right, so let's hear this guitar. Let's talk about the sounds. So it is a dual humbucker design, and they sound like humbuckers. They're definitely full, thick, but they can definitely get glassy too. So on the bridge pickup, and by the way, I'm playing out of a Vox AC10. So if you haven't, check out the Vox AC10s. They have a very similar circuit to the AC15s. They're just not as loud. They do have a digital reverb, and for some people that's a problem. Not for me. The digital reverb I think sounds great, and it cuts down on the weight and that annoying kind of clanging when you pick an amp up and put it down or knock it. So we're pretty clean. We've got the gain turned almost all the way down. We've got the we've got the treble and the bass at about 12 o'clock. And the volume's at about, what are we, 2/3 of the way up. So it's about as clean as this is gonna get. So we're gonna be on our bridge pickup here. So, not single coil-ish sounding, but you could almost fake some country licks and stuff. It's a very open sounding humbucker. It's not muddy at all. We've got the middle position here. And the neck. I would call these pickups overwound, but I wouldn't call them incredibly hot, which is good personally. I think the obsession with hot pickups has gotten a little bit out of control. These pickups are even and they're balanced sounding. I think that hot pickups get muddy really fast. They don't take clean sounds very well, and they push amps when they don't really need to be pushed. I think these are a good middle ground between vintage wound and it's kind of this modern obsession with hot pickups. Okay, so now we're going to see what this thing sounds like with a little bit of distortion. We're going to start on our bridge pickup here. So very honky, cut through a mix great. So we're going to go to the middle pickup here. I think it's a little bit more open sounding. And then we'll go to our neck pickup. Okay, now I'm going to show you how it's going to take a fuzz pedal. I'm using my If 6 Was 9 Fuzz by Solid Gold FX, sorry, Solid Gold. But I'll say this, it's my favorite fuzz pedal ever. You'll see why, I think. That was actually on the neck pickup. You can kind of get the woman sound, fuzz pedal, fuzz basically all the way up. Bridge pickup, sorry, neck pickup, volume all the way down. So an exceptionally smooth sound. It definitely takes distortion well. Especially a fuzz pedal. This I personally think this guitar is really the most at home with a vintage type setup with a tube amp and fuzz and overdrive pedals. But let's see how it hangs on so it goes in the neck position here. With the tone back up. So even on the neck, even on the bridge pickup there, it's certainly not harsh. It's not overbearing. It's still very smooth. Part of that's the pedal. But part of this guitar is super well balanced. It could really play in almost any style. Like I said, I think it's better. It's gonna have a better home in sort of classic rock, modern shoegazy type stuff. I think this guitar would really excel at stuff like that. So all in all, I think for $500, this guitar is definitely worth checking out.